Hello everyone, thanks for joining me for one of the last sessions of JiraCon 22 today. I feel honored to be able to host one of the final sessions of the event. At a fashion show, the first and last model to walk the runway is usually considered to have a special privilege, opening or closing the show. JiraCon is not a fashion show, or is it? And I'm certainly not a model. But nevertheless, I'd like to thank Patrick, Said, Ashley, and everyone else at Trundl for this opportunity today. Thanks for having us. Okay, let's walk the runway. My name is Andreas Springer, and I'm head of marketing for Actonic. We are an Atlassian Gold solution partner as well as a marketplace vendor, and we are based in Stuttgart, southern Germany, with many more locations around the world. So the topic of my presentation today is make your Jira data visible through reporting. And as you will see, we are not only going to make it visible, but also more valuable, which is no doubt even more important. Let's start with the question. What is Jira? I mean, you are attending JiraCon, right? So chances are you already know what Jira can do. So let me ask this question in a different way. What kind of value is Jira supposed to be providing to you? Let's think about this question for a moment, and then I'd like you to give me your take in the chat. What kind of value do you want to get out of Jira? What are you looking for? Let's hear it. Do you have any ideas? What is it that is most important to you when it comes to Jira? What do you want from Jira? Any opinions from you guys? Breakdowns of work, okay. Mental peace, okay. Very nice. I like that one. Any other ideas? Quick access to knowledge, better ticketing, okay. Priorities, also good one. Very nice. Any other ideas? Okay, so short view and long view, visibility. Yes, exactly. Very much so. It goes in the right direction. What I want to talk about, I like the mental peace part. So I think one of Jira's essential purposes is to provide clarity. Clarity to uncover what has been obscured or hidden from your view, and therefore also hidden from your attention. Right? And if something is hidden from your attention, you are unable to act on it. As someone responsible for a team, a department, or an entire organization, you need to know what is happening in order to be able to react to it. Jira is ultimately supposed to provide transparency to support you in your decision-making process, or maybe someone else in your organization. Certainly, all of you know the expression, knowledge is power. When Sir Francis Bacon coined this phrase in 1597, he wanted to transmit the idea that knowledge doesn't only inform, but it also has the capacity to influence decision-making. But there's also the quote, knowledge is of no value unless you put it into practice, by Anton Chekhov. In combination of those two, we can find the way to truly impact your business through the means of filtering and analyzing Jira data in order to correlate it with each other, create context, and generate impulses to facilitate positive changes in workflows and strategies from the most basic types of operations up to critical high-level decisions. But what does that mean in plain English? Let's simplify the whole thing a little bit and think of the following situation to illustrate the concept of correlation. Imagine you are selling ice cream. You own a storefront or a kiosk. It is summer and customers are coming in for refreshments. business is good, but you're wondering what you can do to maximize your revenue, as any good business owner would do, right? So you are looking at your sales numbers during the week, naturally, and you notice that sales were highest on Friday, building up to that point during the week and slowing down afterwards a little bit on the weekend. So you might be coming to the conclusion that Friday is a very good day for ice cream. And you might have the idea to keep your kiosk open for longer hours to increase sales. Since people are buying mostly on Fridays, right? So you implement this change in the following week, but after looking at your statistics again, you realize that in this week, Tuesday was the best performing day. What happened? It's a mystery, right? Well, not if you expand your data analysis by a second metric and put both in relation to each other. That is correlation. In this example, the right second metric to look at would be the outside temperature for every day of the week to understand how it affects the behavior of your customers. Once you do that, it becomes clear that most ice cream is being sold on those days with high temperatures, on hot days. And your business strategy should be adapted to that. So you need a little bit more of a dynamic approach. Not every week is the same. Now, this example is quite simple and obvious, and the diagram is not very accurate, I have to admit, but it becomes clear that oftentimes data analysis can yield very surprising results. And that's exactly why it is so important to have a real close look at your Jira data in order to fully understand everything and connect the right information to each other. The important thing to take away is that data analysis and reporting, while it can sound boring and dull, is in fact not only necessary evil to make sure stakeholders and superiors are informed about status and progress of KPIs, OKRs and such, but it is actually an exciting opportunity to learn new things about your business, and it can be transformative and very beneficial in the way you conduct your business. And even if it's not transformative in big ways, those learnings can improve efficiency, save time, lower costs, and more on a smaller scale, which will add up over time and make a huge difference. Another thing I want to mention in terms of reporting is that reports don't always just have to consist of numbers in tables or one of the various known diagram types like bar charts like you see here or line charts and so on. How a report is displayed should depend on what kind of information you want to communicate and also your focus. Especially if your goal is to convince someone to take action after seeing your report, you should think about a concept called data storytelling. Data storytelling is a mechanism to share knowledge in the most engaging, memorable, and persuasive way possible. This is important because decision makers will only act if they understand what they see. And to make them understand, you need to add your own commentary to the data you are sharing. Again, it's about context, wrapping it into a story. One way you can do this is by preparing the visualization in such a way that it supports the point you are trying to make. Use your data as evidence, showing metrics that validate your suggestions. Leave everything else out. So it is not only important to collect as much data as possible and to gain knowledge from it, but also how you display it and how you present it. Lastly, Jira reports don't have to be static. If done in the right way, they can be interactive and the first step to take action by getting deeper insights as well as directly communicating with the people involved. Giving you access to issues, you can start working with them immediately with the report as a starting point. So let's summarize. What do you need in order to put meaningful reporting into practice? First, you have to obviously collect data. Then you need to organize, process, and interpret this data to make it useful and meaningful, turning it into information. And finally, you have to present the information in such a way that it becomes understandable and transforms into knowledge that can lead to action to facilitate change. The good news is, just by using Jira alone, you already have a basis to work with and a means to collect the data you need. Jira out of the box contains a lot of data points that can be populated with information by your users. Reporter, assignee, date of creation, issue status, start date, due date, and so on. If you're using custom fields, there are even more ways to collect data, and the possibilities are almost endless. Now, what you have to keep in mind when collecting data is that all data you want to analyze needs to be complete and accurate. If you have gaps in your data sets or false information, you obviously will not be able to get any use out of it. So in order to get the results you need, the right data points must be gathered in the right way first. To achieve that, workflows inside companies sometimes need to be adjusted, and teams have to be trained to create the right preconditions for meaningful reporting. As a simple example, if it is important for you to precisely track when issues have been resolved, team members have to mark those issues as done as soon as that happens, and not later, to make sure the data is reliable. Sometimes those ticket changes can also be automated depending on your infrastructure. Now, what about the second and third part of our list, processing and visualization? That's where special tools come into play. Jira has some reporting options already built in, but you have the standard standard possibilities, but it's pretty limited in terms of flexibility. You have burn down charts, velocity charts, etc., which can be very useful, no doubt. But once you have special requirements and want to use the method of data storytelling I mentioned earlier, you need something more customizable that allows you to shape and craft the exact report you need. So let me show you our approach, which we call Report Builder. And it does exactly what it says. It lets you build reports in different ways. Its flexibility really is the key here. No matter if you want to quickly create a simple zero-code overview report, or if you need a very elaborate calculation presented in a special diagram, this is the framework to use. If you have the report you need, you can then share it, export it, and display it in a Jira dashboard gadget. And if you only have a concept but no expertise for a complex implementation, we can help you with that too. But more on that later. So let's dive right into it and have a look. Let me quickly change my screen sharing here. One moment. Here we go. So now we are inside Report Builder, and when we open up Report Builder, we start in the Create Report tab, where you can directly see our gallery with predefined report types. We have two different kinds of reports. Quick reports marked by the yellow outline here at the top, and scripted reports with a gray outline below that. Quick reports are meant to be direct starting points for specific requirements. As you can see, there are only 3 quick reports here, and one of them is called Universal Report. This is where we are looking to provide a single interface to create a lot of different results from, to cover the most common use cases. Before the Universal Report, we had a lot more quick reports, but we have been integrating them now one by one into the Universal Report. Only 2 more are left. Now let's have a closer look at the Universal Report. We can create one either by clicking on this tile here in the gallery, or on the blue button, Get Started with Universal Report. So let's do that. And now you can see, once you are inside the report, on the left side, you can configure your report, and you can put in what you want to see. Since I'm in a pretty much empty demo environment right now, what I need is some data for illustration purposes. Report Builder, fortunately, provides some example issues built in, which you can use to play around with it and get a better understanding of how it all works. So to recreate what I'm doing now, you can simply start a free evaluation on the Atlassian Marketplace and follow my steps. All right, so let's click on Add Demo Issues, and we can immediately see some result. Normally, we would select in the first two drop-down menus on the left, on the top here, what we are looking for, that we are looking for issues and where to look for, so define the scope. But since we are working with demo data, which you can see by this indicator here at the top, this is inactive. What's not inactive is how you want to display the results and what to include. For this example, for now, a table view is fine, but let's see what we can do with rows and columns underneath. For the rows, we could, for example, add the fields assignee and issue. So let's do that. Add field, assignee, and add field issue. And as you can see, they are automatically put underneath each other in the hierarchy view. The default project field is not needed here, so we can quickly remove this level to clear up the results and the hierarchy a little bit. Let's do it like this. Okay. So now you can already see very comfortably who of your team got assigned to how many tickets. To make the results even more clear, however, what we can do is to switch to a bar chart view. Let's do that, like this. And now everything is much easier to understand. And on first class, you can notice a few things. First, Agatha is the team member with the lowest amount of tasks assigned to her. George is the one with the most tasks. And there are 3 issues in the current scope that are unassigned. So just from seeing that, you might want to think about assigning one or more of those 3 unassigned issues to Agatha, or maybe reassigning some of George's tasks to other team members to balance the load among your colleagues. So what also could be useful now is to switch back to the table view and select priority for the columns. So let's do that. We go back to the table chart and we go to the columns and put in priority and put in the issues here. Okay. And here you can now see that not only Agatha has only 1 ticket assigned to her, but it's also a low priority ticket. So it makes even more sense, for example, to reassign one or more of George's medium priority tasks to Agatha, so that George can concentrate on his high priority task, which is demo 7. So this is a good example of data correlation to make sure you consider all factors before you're making a decision, which is very easy with Report Builder, as you can see. Next, if we change the columns to status, we can see how many of these tickets are still to do, already in progress, or finished. So let's do that. And we go from priority to status like this. And when we scroll down here, what we can see immediately is that, oddly enough, 2 of those issues that are not assigned to anyone, they are actually in progress. So that's something that you should probably investigate to clear up what is going on with these tasks. So it becomes quite obvious already with this simple example how you can use Jira reporting in general and Report Builder specifically to uncover important information that helps you a lot to understand what is happening and gives you pointers on what kind of action you need to take to ensure a smooth workflow inside your project. So let me quickly switch back to my presentation to continue. All right, so we have now seen the simple reports and universal report, but this is not all. Report Builder also offers more complex reports, which we call scripted reports. They are infinitely customizable with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and open up truly unlimited possibilities to create any kind of Jira report you might ever need. To illustrate how powerful they are, I want to show you a real-life example of a custom report we built for one of our German customers, Büfer. Büfer, I don't know if you've heard of them, but they are a big German chemical company, and they manufacture different materials for industrial, medical, and other applications. Their delivery system is based on the just-in-time model, which makes the optimization of internal processes essential to a successful workflow. So what is extremely important to them is a way to keep track of delivery dates, to make sure they are in fact on time. To do that, they are using custom fields in Jira to define an estimated delivery date, as well as keep track of the actual delivery date. Now, what we developed for them is a custom stacked bar chart report, as you can see here, to visualize for each month how many issues have an actual delivery date that is below the estimation and how many are above the estimation. Those are split up into the red and green parts of the bar chart. The target is being displayed as a line at 75%, which is the goal to reach. And of course, the period of review can be flexibly selected with our user-friendly date picker that you can find everywhere in Report Builder. What's great about the solution is a few things. First, the report shows exactly what the customer wanted, all in one beautiful diagram, while still being clear and easy to read. Secondly, the needed Jira data is being pulled in real time from the project itself. And that means the report updates itself continuously. So no more manual work just to keep the numbers up to date. I think you can imagine how happy the responsible person at the client side was when we told him he wouldn't have to do that anymore. And lastly, this is not just a static report, and I touched on that before. Not only do you get more detailed information when you hover over the red and green bars to show you how many issues exactly are included, but if you click on them, you get a list view of those exact tickets for further analysis. So when a delivery date was not met, the responsible person can simply click into the red segment for the month and see exactly which issue prevented it. By looking more closely into those issues, he can determine why that happened and develop a strategy to improve the workflow for the future. And all of that without any elaborate manual research at all. Using this report, Büfer was able to very quickly raise their goal of 75% to 80%, and I believe they are now well on their way to 85 already, even though they are struggling with supply chain issues as many companies in this industry are doing, which makes the result even more impressive. So as you can see, any kind of report is possible with Report Builder, many of them right out of the box. And we are adding more templates all the time. And of course, if you have any requirements or ideas for new templates, let us know and we will check it and implement it. Quite a new template, for example, that I want to mention is a way to export Jira issue data directly to Microsoft Word. Microsoft Word document template that you can structure and design any way you like. Possibilities with this feature alone are truly endless and suitable for people who are used to working primarily with Microsoft Word, but want to add specific Jira metrics to their documents. And just like in the example of Büfa, we can help you to implement whatever specific requirement you might have. Our custom development service is called Actonic Report Building Service, and it will enable you to outsource the actual implementation of a complex scripted report to our experienced developers in case you don't have the time or expertise in-house to do it yourself. What we offer with our report building service is requirements engineering, implementation, obviously, and UI UX, as well as working out all the details until you or your client are happy with the result. If you want to learn more about the report we built for Büfa, about the challenges and how we were able to meet their expectations, you can read the full story at actonic.de/Büfa. Here are a few more customer voices to showcase how satisfied our clients have been with Report Builder in the past. And as you can see, this report updates itself. This is really a huge thing. People are really excited about that. And here's another customer we are working with, Ferrari. You might heard of them. The deal was just signed, and I can't reveal too many details about it, but we will create a timeline report for them, which will help them to coordinate their business strategy in different markets around the world. Very exciting stuff, and we are very happy to have Ferrari among our diverse set of clients. Now, if this doesn't convince you to take a look at Report Builder, I don't know what will. So please have a look at the Atlassian Marketplace and start your evaluation. After that, you can book a demo at actonic.de/app-demo, where we can answer all of your questions in a free online session after the event. And even if JiraCon is nearly over, if you stop by our booth after the session, I might even be able to give you a promo code for your first year of usage. If the booth doesn't work out, or you're looking at the recording right now, just contact me afterwards. Contact info will be in the last slide. Now I think we have still a little bit of time left. So if there are any questions from you, the audience, let's go into that and let's hear them.
Yeah, hello, I'm Ruben, the moderator of this session. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the chat now. Right now we have one question that I will ask you, Andreas. The question is, what are some correlative or connected sets of data points that you have found to be most impactful for your customers? Do you have a top 3 or a go-to series that are great for common use cases?
So I think it is very difficult to answer something like that, because what we found out is that clients have use cases that are sometimes really special and really individual, and that is the strength of Report Builder, right? So you have the framework and the tool in your hand to do these kinds of correlations and comparisons. But for example, with the example of the ice cream kiosk, someone like this has a specific kind of requirement and a specific set of data to look at, and someone else has a completely different requirement. So I think it's a good idea for us to look into it and maybe write an article about it, to lay out maybe the most common ones that might affect some of you and some customers. But then again, it's really something very individual, and we can talk about it, of course. So we are not doing just products, we are also doing consulting, and of course we can help you with that if you need some tips and some pointers. But we have to look at the industry, we have to look at the infrastructure, and the company size and everything. So this ties more into like the consulting side of our business, I think. And if it can help you, yeah, just contact us.
Okay,
Anything else?
we have another question. What are some of the most used templates or the most popular ones? So templates.
Yeah, so I think the universal report actually is really something that gets used a lot. That's why we created it. And apart from that, we're actually doing a lot of custom developments. So I just talked about two examples today, but I think the strength of Report Builder really lies in the flexibility, as I said before, and into building whatever you need, right? So as a starting point, the included templates are good. And again, if you have any ideas for templates that we should include in future releases, please let us know. We are happy to include them. But the ability to basically have an open world in front of you and do whatever you want with the data you can pull out of Jira, that is really the strength of it. And a lot of clients are also using that.
Okay, right now there are no more questions in the chat. So if you have any question, now is your chance.
Yeah, last
Free.
chance. Okay, I think that should be it. Again, if you can think of anything else that you would like to know, stop by our booth or contact us afterwards. Again, this is nearly over JiraCon, so you can send me an email. You can see the address on the screen here. You can also connect on LinkedIn. Lots of ways to reach us. If you have any more questions or you are in need or one of your customers is in need of a very special reporting solution. So yeah, that seems to be all. Thank you again for your attention. And now let's head over to the closing session. I think not just yet, but in a few. Closing session of JiraCon 22 with Patrick. Bye everyone. See you soon.